So what I did is I took a 55-gallon drum and cut the door, cut a hole basically, and then put a piece of sheet steel over that so it can latch. Otherwise it wouldn't hook. And it just stabilizes the door because the heat warps everything really bad. Made some hinges, bent over some, took some just flat pieces of steel, bent them over, stuck a bolt through it, welded that sucker on there. Boom, handy made door. Does it work great? No. Is it as nice as buying a door for this kit? No, but that's like $110 and I didn't want to spend it. So now in the future, next year, this one will be gone. I will have a much better cooker next year. But for the last 4 years and this year, it works. I'm only making 5-ish gallons of syrup. And so that's what, 150, probably 170 gallons of syrup I got to cook down. It works, you know. I run it, you know, I started it last night at 5 o'clock, ran until 11:30, and then just filled it up with wood, put a bunch of sap in the dripper up there, and let it go. And it cooked off 5 gallons overnight, you know, until it cooled down. So you can do it with something like this very effectively. So the rest of what we did, cut open the top, bent the edges up, and then I just welded an angle iron piece to it to the size of my tray. So basically this tray went to the scrapyard. This actually was a vent tube from an Applebee's, and when they swapped it out or tore it down, I don't know what they did. Stainless steel tube. We just cut that sucker down, you know, cut the seams on it, put the two pieces together, welded it down the middle, boom, ready-made pan. And it works. It's actually nice, thick stainless. It's not too thick. It's like 18 gauge or 16 gauge. So it works good. We put a stack on the back with some just tubing that I had. I mean, you can see it. It was actually a old workout machine, like one of those, not an elliptical, but like it was like a station that had all the weights on it. My father-in-law got rid of it. So it had holes, so I had to fill these gaps. Makes a really nice heavy-duty stack. It's all ghetto. It's just slapped together. But I got $75 into the whole thing, and probably $40 of that is the stainless for the pan. And then the other thing that you got to do, and if you don't do this with maple syrup, you're killing your boil. You want something on top that can slow drip. So once this gets going, I'm gonna make the fire. I'll fill this up, and you just get a stream running out of here. And the purpose of that, super important. If you just pour sap in, you're going to kill your boil every time you pour cold sap in. And then it's going to take 10, 15 minutes to heat back up to the point where you're getting good steam coming off again. So if you put a dripping pan like that, you are not going to have to reheat your sap every time. It's going to drip it in at the right consistency. Now this stove, I don't have any fire bricks in there. Once again, if I was on top of it, I would, but I didn't want to spend the money on it because it's not a good shape. It's not an efficient shape. But it's worked for me. It would work for you. A lot of people put the buffet pans on top. That works too. I don't like that because then I have to sit there and move sap from the front one to the middle one to the back one. This system, I just set it and forget it, and I fill that thing like every hour and a half, and I put wood in it. So this, to keep it really going, I actually have a blower. And this is actually the fan off of my old furnace. When our furnace went out 5 years ago now, I just took the fans off of it because why not? Because I keep crap. And I figured someday I'm going to need it. My wife literally is like, why are you taking crap off of the stuff we're throwing out? I'm like, I might need it someday. And ta-da! I needed it. So I had to wire in a cord. Whoopie-doo. I think I had a hairdryer or something that went bad, and I cut the cord off. Boom, cord. And that works really good. That forces air in on it, and it rips through. I mean, it's hot. It'll keep this thing, which when I fill this up, right now there's probably 10 gallons in there, and it will keep that absolutely roaring boil with that fan on. The problem is you go through more wood, but wood is, well, here it's free because we have down trees. And when I do landscaping stuff in the summer, if I have wood or trees, when we cut trees down, I keep it all, bring it home, and then throw it in there. Now, if you're using cheap, crappy wood, if you're throwing pine in at it or poplar, you're going to go through a ton. And I go through a lot with this. But maple works better. Maple, oak is kind of the target. So